Yes, guys, hello and welcome back to the Spurs-related YouTube channel and podcast. And I believe we're on X as well again today. I hope everyone's doing very well. We've got another transfers update video for you guys live on your screens on Friday night. I hope everyone has had a good week. But as you can see, it's not the Fantastic Four today. It's the tremendous trio. We've got Thomas Frank's AI son, Frank Thomas, up for potentially his last ever appearances, Thomas Frank's AI son, especially if we lose against West Ham at home on Saturday. But Frank, how are you doing, mate?
I'm all right. I don't want to lose, but I hope it is. I hope it is the last time that we use that. I hope it's the end tomorrow. I'm sick to death of not of the name, but of him.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we made a comment about having to change my name for the next manager, so we'll get that sorted for the next one.
Yeah, I'll have to have a little think about what I'd call you for a new manager. But as you can see, he did so well on his debut. White Hart Henry is back on our screens again for his insights on all things transfers. Henry, how you doing? And I did see your TikTok here, little milestone earlier, mate. Well done.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, 1,000 followers, 1 month in. Not too bad, but yeah, good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, all good, thank you. Yeah, sounds good. I mean, yeah, 10 months, 10K, but I'm sure it'll grow much quicker than that. So happy days. Guys, if you are watching on YouTube, make sure you are doing those 3 favors. If you enjoy these transfer updates, I've been doing them daily on this channel. I hope you've been enjoying it. The support's been brilliant. 1,000 views on all of them has been incredible and great support. Hit the like button, turn on the notification bell down below, and subscribe. Those three things are completely free. But if you want to support the channel in any way, shape, or form, there is, of course, the super chat option to change the talking point and to have your chat prioritized. It can get busy in here, especially on transfer updates. And as you can see, Simon Cohen's in the house saying, "Evening, boys." Simon, hope you're well. And Mukhtar's saying, "Oi, oi, legends." Hello, mate. Hope you are well. Get your comments in, get your thoughts in. We're going to do a little transfer roundup for you now. The first one is about Marmoush, who is on the thumbnail of this live, and it is that apparently Tottenham are ready to swoop for Man City attacker Omar Marmoush, according to Team Talk. Not a tier 1 source, probably not even a tier 2 source, but it's definitely, as I say in my transfer videos, food for thought. Omar Marmoush is a very, very good player. He's one that I would have liked to have signed before City signed him from Frankfurt last year. And I mean, I'll get you the boys' thoughts and the chat's thoughts on this, but apparently it's believed that a deal is now very much in the works, with the player now open to leaving the Etihad this month. And of course, they have just signed Antoine Semenyo from Bournemouth, who's already hit the ground running and I believe has had 1 or 2 man of the match displays in his first 2 games. So, you know, maybe Marmoush will struggle for game time with Haaland fit, Semenyo fit, and other good players, Doku having a pretty decent season. Frank, I'll start with you. Omar Marmoush, mate. He's a player I really like. It does still seem quite unlikely that we would be able to get him, but I guess a loan isn't off the cards. What do you reckon?
I mean, the fact that he went out of AFCON quite early, I think he went out in the quarterfinals, the semi-final. So he's back already. So that means you actually get him for part of January as well, which makes more sense. He gives me the same sort of vibe that Sonny did, but when Sonny was 25, 26, that sort of age. That I think he's a game changer. I think he actually affects games. I think a lot of the players we have now, I like certain players or whatever, but I think they have ceilings that are so high and could impact games, but I don't trust them to. I think Marmoush is someone that if you had him on that left-hand side would change games for Tottenham. And sadly, I think it's probably too far-fetched, but it would be nice.
Absolutely, mate. I agree. And he seems quite versatile. I think you're saying there, he can play off the left, can play as a striker, maybe he could play as the 10, who knows, but certainly we need some goals again in the team, which is very important. You know, it's kind of been the opposite problem that Ange had. Like, defensively, we are a little bit better. Yes, we've got worse in recent weeks. We are leaking more goals, but attacking-wise, we're not scoring enough goals either. Henry, I'm going to get your thoughts in just a minute. Cara Lucas in the chat saying, "Morning all." The chat's flowing now. Els Rose saying, "Evening, big up to yourself." Ericsson, I mean, my Spurs brain immediately says that says Ericsson, but maybe it doesn't. Eric Soin, YouTube, big up yourself. Oh, it might not even be YouTube. There's my brain rot again. Got some stickers going on. It's all a bit random. Coys and get Ken in Yildiz. What a player he is, by the way. But Henry, as I said, your thoughts on Marmoush, mate. And for those just joining, here is the latest update. But Henry, what are your thoughts on Marmoush as a player, mate? Would you like to see him at Spurs? And do you think it's even possible?
As a player, obviously, Marmoush is someone that brings our level up tremendously at the moment. I think he's at the perfect kind of stage in his career for players we need. He's, 26, 27? So brings the experience of different leagues in Europe and stuff. He's an unreal player. But my biggest worry is money, really. He's on like 285 grand a week or something I was reading earlier. I know we've seen reports saying we're going to break our wage structure. I think the only real way this is possible is if it's a loan where City takes some of the wages still.
Yeah, absolutely. 285 grand a week. That wouldn't. That's insane. That's just ridiculous. Can't even comprehend it. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it would have to be a split fee with the wages on the loan, and maybe to avoid. You almost think we'd have to pay a loan fee as well. Quite often you have to pay a loan fee. I think we have to do that with Kolo Muani. I think we had to pay a substantial loan fee. Was it 5 or 10 million or something? I want to say, could be wrong. But anyway, guys, in the chat, there's about 80 of you already watching, loving the support. Let us know what you think. Marmoush, yes or no? Would you take him? In fact, if you're watching live on YouTube, give us a little 1 or a 2. 1 if you'd like to see Marmoush at Tottenham. 2 if you would not. And let us know if you're a number 2, who you'd go for instead. Which attacking player, which striker, which winger. Simon Cohen thinks we need 2 strikers in. Frank, what do you reckon, mate? Do you think we need 2 strikers, given the fact that Richarlison, as you guys remember, 7 weeks out, our top scorer? It goes from bad to worse for Spurs. I'm not asking the right person here because I know you absolutely hate Richarlison, but let's be honest, it's not great news considering we're not scoring as many goals as we were at the start of the season, and the fact that he is our top scorer and he's out injured for 7 weeks.
Is it awful to admit that when he went down, I almost broke into a smile?
Frank, you can't say that. You can't say that.
No, I can't stand him. I don't.
But mate, what are we left with now? Have a think. Like Solanke, he's getting up and running, but
I do agree.
He's not fully fit. And then Kolo Muani's absolutely useless. I'm going to be honest. He's been terrible.
Yeah. I mean, what I will give Richarlison, and I'd hate him, but is that he's one of the few in that front line that have relatively consistently done his job. I think a better number 9 probably scores more goals than he has this year. And I think if he played Tell as a 9 all season like he has Richarlison, Tell would probably be on a similar number of goals, if not more. So I don't think it's the benchmark, but I think he's certainly done his job more so than some of the others have. But it's a concern because he was, as I say, probably one of the only sort of consistent sort of sources of goals. I don't think Kolo Muani is good enough. Solanke's obviously not fit. Tell wants to play there, but Frank obviously don't really rate him. So I think they certainly need 1. Ultimately, though, it's difficult to get. Whilst I have a go at the board and whatever, it is difficult to go and buy players who really suit what you want to do in January. And so, but on the sort of flip side of that, there will be plenty of deals you'll be able to get on loan, I imagine, ahead of the World Cup. Players that are playing at bigger clubs that aren't necessarily getting game time or aren't performing how they should or whatever. So there's certainly opportunities. I think Marmoush would make sense because he can play on the left and he can play as a 9. So he covers both of that. You could get him on loan for 6 months, I think, until City decide what they want to do with him in the summer. I think they certainly need 1, but I wouldn't be against the idea of 2 at all.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Henry, I'll get your thoughts on that sort of subject there in a minute. Stefan Everington, Matthew Everington's cousin, is in here. Big up yourself. He's saying
on that note.
Go on.
On that note, it's the Matthew Everton derby this weekend, isn't it?
Actually is. So, Stefan, you've got to have your allegiance, either Tottenham or West Ham. Make your mind up. But jokes aside, hope you're well, mate. Andrew's in here saying, big up, gents. Left waiting again, number 1. And big up your dog as well. I mean, I'm just sorry, by the way, I had to clip it up. I don't know if you guys remember last week, I had an absolute shocker with the profile picture of a toucan. And I thought it was a parrot. So that wasn't my finest moment. I always like to, dig myself out when it's a bad one. Callum Roche saying 1. Els Rose saying 1. Simon saying James is right. See, Frank, you've got to be back in Richarlison. You can't be celebrating us getting one of our strikers injured at this point. I mean,
celebrate never, but crack a smile possibly.
Oh, I think that's unbelievable, mate. I think you
not.
slapped yourself on the wrist. Martin Richards saying hopefully Marmoush will be signed. Absolutely, mate. Do you think Marmoush could just split 1 week's wages and give it to the 3 panelists and me? That would be nice, wouldn't it? Just 1 week. That's all we asked for. Cara Lucas saying I'm still learning who is and isn't good, but he can't possibly be worse than what we got. So I'll go for a 1. And Colin, big up yourself, Colin. Always good to see you. He said, hi, boys. I think Marmoush is a good fit. Another I think would be good is Strand Larsen. We are going to talk about him. So you've jumped the gun on that one, mate. But appreciate you joining as well. I think there was one more comment. I've already lost it. But big up everyone starting to join. So those that have just joined, as a quick reminder again, Marmoush, apparently Spurs are ready to swoop. But again, this is source of team talk, which is far from a Fabrizio Romano or a David Ornstein. But listen, let's keep an eye on things. Let's see if it progresses to tier 1 sources or tier 2 sources very, very soon. Let's move on to talk about very quickly. Let's just very quickly. I know it's a transfers focused video and live, but we'll have a little talk about the weekend because I think it's important, and then it leads to talking about transfers and what we need if we were to lose this game or not to perform well in this game. But whilst this weekend's match between Spurs and West Ham has been described as El Sacico, Thomas Frank has been given no indication that he needs to win to remain in his job as Spurs boss. I mean, that's very worrying. I think if we lose the game on Saturday, for me, guys, I don't know how he'd still be in a job. Henry, what's your thoughts on the Thomas Frank situation? Mate, are you Thomas Frank in, Thomas Frank out? Where do you stand if we lose on Saturday?
I mean, I think you'd go far to find a Spurs fan that wants to keep Thomas Frank at the moment. If we
You'd
lose,
be surprised. There's some in these. There's some in this
I
chat.
know.
There's some on these live streams, mate, and I can't believe it either. To be honest,
there's a lot of people that are insistent on the fact that because he's had a long tenure at Brentford, he can do it for us as well. But yeah, I mean, if Thomas Frank loses on Saturday, for me, I see it as a double. We win or we win. Either we help send West Ham down, or it's another nail in Thomas Frank's coffin. But it's not good looking at stuff like that, and especially with the incomings of Heitinga and a new director of football, it looks like things are kind of still standing around him, which isn't really positive news for us if you do think Thomas Frank's got to go. Yeah,
no, I agree, mate. I absolutely agree. Frank, what do you think, mate? Do you think he's gone if we lose tomorrow? Do you think he will be gone?
I don't know. I really did. And then they've gone and spent sort of 50 million quid or something in the first 2 weeks of January, which is quite a rarity at Tottenham. I don't know. If he loses tomorrow, he should go. Like, he should. Whether or not he will, I don't know. But I'm kind of getting to the point now where I'm like, maybe in 5 years' time, if we stick with this, we might end up being successful. But I'm at a point now where I can't actually sit through this for another 5 years or 4 years, whatever they want to sort of make him sit through it, because it's that bad. It's easily, I know me and you spoke about, James, briefly the other day, that it's the most disconnected I've felt easily. And I imagine that most people are in that boat. It's, you know, he's, whilst I think he's probably a decent bloke, every sort of strand of the club seems to be getting worse under his ownership of the team. And that's quite concerning. And whilst there's arguments for the players not being good enough and this not being good enough and that not being good enough, and I will accept them all, ultimately he's not doing his job to a sufficient enough level. And if they lose tomorrow to who I would argue right now are actually the worst team in the league. I mean, they went and got pumped by Wolves 2 weeks ago. I mean, they're a poor standard. If you go and lose at home to them tomorrow, I think you've got to go.
Imagine how toxic the stadium's going to be as well.
Oh, it's going to be a nightmare.
I'm not going, but if we lost with the protest before as well, that would be some place to be at full time. It would be like a war zone, I think. I think there'll be things thrown on the pitch, the loudest booing ever. I mean, I wouldn't want to be around it, to be perfectly honest. I think it'd be absolute carnage. But
I think ultimately, though, because of the protest, that if we do lose tomorrow, I think they will feel under pressure to make a change. And so I think they probably will sack him because of the protest and because of how toxic it could become.
But the thing is, I don't know if you guys have seen, you guys watching live, that we've signed or, you know, taken in John Heitinga as the assistant. Like, does that not play a part? Is it like, well, we'll give you some time with Heitinga as your number two? regardless of what happens on Saturday. That's my only fear if we did lose. But I don't know. Food for thought. Let us know what you guys think. I'll tell you what, little interaction piece. Let's get Henry's, wish. See if we can find some Frank ins. Are you Frank in? Are you Frank out? Put it in the live chat now. And if you're watching on Twitter, I think there's like 75 of you watching on Twitter. Come over to the YouTube where we do the live polls and the interaction pieces. So come over and subscribe to the channel for daily content. That would be absolutely great. I'm going to catch up on chat and then we'll go into the next piece. Darfarsha, big up yourself. Is that a rhino you've caught or a fish? I'm not sure. But some of us don't want to waste tens of millions of pounds to change our manager and staff every 6 months. Well, technically, the change for Tottenham protest tomorrow and everything else, like, the argument is that the club hasn't been being run properly for many years. And, it's always weird that we sign a couple of players before the protest. Seems to happen every time. Will we actually sign more than 2 more players? I mean, I wouldn't count my chickens on it. Jessica saying, how many extra points would we have if Frontline could finish our chances, though? Yeah, absolutely. In the last few weeks, it's been terrible, as I was saying. But I mean, also tactically, we are absolutely way off it. We don't progress the ball enough. We don't play through the lines. We don't pass as a team. We don't look together. There's all sorts of problems, not just the finishing, but I don't think we create enough chances regardless. And I don't think the ball goes into the box enough to accurate positions. I just think, Pedro Porro last season, or let's go to see, sort of season before, he was absolutely brilliant at putting in a delivery. And now he couldn't, it doesn't seem like he could put it on anyone's head with 100 attempts. It's absolute. And I'm not just digging out Porro, by the way. That's just one example.
Sorry, on the note of Porro, I saw something today, which I don't know. I think it was true that he's created more chances than any other defender in the Premier League, which amazed me when I read that.
It doesn't. When you say, what does a chance count as, though?
Well, I guess this is the thing. This is what it comes down to. But that amazes me because whilst I think that the more you put in, the more they're probably going to work, and he puts in around 30 a game, it feels like. That does still amaze me that there's not someone else that created more than him. But his quality has gone right down the pan in the last couple of months.
Yeah. Devanchi's saying, I don't want to see 3 strikers at once while we sub off Tell and Odabet. That was a horrible decision from Frank. The in-game substitutions have been terrible as well. Yildiz and Wharton, perfect signings this January. Very happy with Conor Gallagher. Says, P and square root tutoring. Big up P and square root tutoring. I've read that right, haven't I? I just have an absolute mare with the names sometimes. Jess is saying in sorry, go on, Henry.
I think it's pi. It's a maths thing, isn't it?
Oh, okay. Got pi and square. See, look, I just shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing it. Anyway, jokes aside, majority of issues is poor chance finishing and missing mid players, poor decisions from certain centre-backs or goalkeepers. Goalkeeping's been shocking. I don't even get me into that. Andrew saying Frank Doubt, he's never had our first 11. I don't think he knows what our best 11 is at all. And what happens if we win this game, says Brad, then gets Marmoush and another attacker, left attacker getting jammed, then go on a bit of a 4-game winning streak. What will you do with Frank then? Well, it's not up to any of us, unfortunately. But I think if we go on a run and you can see progression, then sure, stick with him till the end of the season, give him a free hit. But personally, I think the season's running away from us. We're out the FA Cup. Champions League is, could go either way, couldn't it? I can't see us going much further anyway. It's just a bit of a shambles, isn't it? Tottenham interested in signing Gotts. What's your source there, Sukil? Let us know. Good to see you. Let's get back into this. Let's talk about Thomas Frank would like to sign an attacking player who can play off the left if possible. Interesting. That gives us food for thought. But in terms of the predicted lineups for the game tomorrow, this is what FootMob have gone with. Is FootMob, isn't it, Frank?
Yeah.
And yeah, what do you reckon, Henry? I'll go with you. I know you like your lineups and your squad content. What do you reckon? Do you think this is the 11 they'll go with tomorrow? Thomas Frank will go with?
I mean, I think Udogie and Solanke are both in a similar boat. Obviously, Solanke's been out a lot longer, but I think Frank's more likely to use them both at the same time. So if we do see Udogie, I would like to see Solanke because I think Kolo Muani just does not care what happens, regardless of the game or the scenario. I think we probably will see Conor Gallagher. There's a reason that we saw him. His announcement post on his personal account, he said, "See you all Saturday." So I'm assuming we might see Gallagher. We could see him as a 10 and Xabi come off the left, but that would be really harsh on Tel, in my opinion. So I think we could see him in a double pivot, but I struggle watching or looking at the idea of Palhinha and Gallagher doing that together, because they're both their best attributes are off the ball, and that is not going to be great in a game. We need to possess the ball a lot. West Ham are such a poor side. We need to really take the game to them, and with Palhinha and Gallagher, I'm not sure we can do that with both of them in double pivot. But
yeah,
centre backs wise, I think Mickey van der Ven will start. There's a lot of people I've been seeing saying he's played so many minutes, but he's suspended on Tuesday. So other than that, I think that is the back line. We might see Spencer left back, but other than that, I think that back line is pretty set.
Absolutely. I think Gallagher surely is going to start. Everyone's saying in the chat, no Gallagher. I think Gallagher will start. Colin's saying, Poch made Connor his captain. He has had a whisper, and also Connor has never missed a game with an injury. Let's see what happens now with Dr. Tottenham. Absolutely. And apparently people have been seeing Palhinha is out or injured. Interesting.
Yeah, there was a rumor from a guy I follow late this afternoon, who said that apparently he's picked up a knock and he's out, and so
he's out for 8 weeks or something. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I imagine they knock, we'll never see him again. But my hunch is that Gallagher will start. Then it will be Gallagher and Gray, and then I think it'll be Simmons, Tel, and one other. I don't know who'll start front. Probably one.
Interesting, guys. Let us know what you think. We'll go to the West Ham. I'm conscious of time. I want to go back to transfers, because at the end of the day, this is what this live is more about. But Sukil was saying 40 million for Götze, and he's a Belgian international, 20 years old for Ajax, scored 8 goals and 8 assists. Let us know what the source is, though, Sukil. You can't just tell us we're going to sign someone and not back it up with a source. You can't do that to me. Del Boy saying, big up, guys, big up yourself. And Ben Davies has helped Tell he might get a start. You got to love Ben Davies, Colin, if I remember rightly. You are Welsh. But this is what the West Ham team will look like. I think Tati Castellanos has started. I believe he got a goal in the cup game against QPR the other day. Obviously, they've signed him. It's a bit of a random signing. They signed him from Lazio. I can't remember if it's a loan or a permanent. Maybe someone can tell me. But it's interesting that they signed that guy. And Somerville, I believe, got a goal in their cup game as well. Just double checking that one. So Somerville kind of went off the boil a little bit, didn't he? But interesting that he's probably going to be in the mix. And then their midfield, Souček, bit leggy these days. Potts, Rodriguez, it's nothing amazing, is it? And then their back line is just a bit average, to be honest with you. What do you reckon, Henry? What do you think of West Ham's main threats? Who would you say their main threats are?
I mean, regardless of scenario, you've just got to get Jarrett Bowen out of the game, haven't you? The striker we haven't seen much of, and Somerville's been so purple patch under in a West Ham shirt. That's exactly why I was talking about us dominating the ball in midfield. That midfield is so honestly weak and not very leggy. Like Souček can't run these days. Guido Rodriguez West Ham fans haven't wanted him since about 3 games into his career. And Freddie Potts, fair play to him, he stepped up since he come through their academy. But we have to run the game in that midfield. It's so weak.
Absolutely, yeah. I think the midfield is. That's what I was saying. Like Souček, I feel like he's been around for ages now, and he's kind of dropped off for a couple of years. I think it's fair to say. Rodriguez, yeah, he's not the best player, and Potts is quite a young player. Frank, Henry's saying about Bowen, and guys, let us know in the chat who you think their main threat is. I think, to be honest, it's quite obvious it's Bowen, but I'd keep an eye on Castellanos as well. I think he's a bit of an unknown, and I think he's done well before at Lazio. What do you reckon, Frank?
Yeah, I think Somerville as well is a pain. He's a handful, and so if he's playing well, he can be a pain. I think against Porro as well, that's a slight concern of mine. I like Freddie Potts. I don't think Freddie Potts controls the game. I think the other two are well past it now. And so, kind of as Henry said, I think the midfield has to be on them. And I think if you had a midfield of, I'd love to see Gallagher and Bergvall play together. I think it'd be amazing. But I think that's when you talk about energy, I think at least one of those two have to start and should be all over them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then again, as well, and I mean, the talk is that Paqueta's going to Flamengo, but whether or not he will be involved tomorrow, I don't know. If Paqueta's there, then that does improve that midfield a little bit. So I guess it's down to that as well. But at the moment, it looks like he won't be.
What I find interesting is it's almost the perfect game for Conor Gallagher, right? Someone that's going to absolutely run them ragged. That midfield, like, it's probably 4 legs between the 3 of them. I mean, they're gonna get absolutely run ragged if a player like Conor Gallagher plays. And actually, although I don't like to see Palhinha injured, I think actually it might be a bit of a like a silver lining, because I think if Gallagher then gets the go ahead, I think he'll absolutely tread all over them. I think it will be a great debut for him, hopefully. I could be completely wrong, and I'm just, thinking out loud. But in terms of the head-to-heads, guys, this will be the last thing, and we'll go back to the transfers. Don't you worry about that. We'll go back to transfers. But before I do, let's catch up on the chat very quickly, because I always like to bring as many messages up as possible. So keep backing in the live chat. And guys, also, please keep supporting the channel. Hit the like button down below. It is free to do so. There's only 18 likes on this live stream. That is absolutely not enough. We need some more likes, please, guys. Turn on the notification and subscribe. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. All free to do so. And as a reminder, there is the super chat option down below, and you can also become a channel member to get priority in the live chat. But as I said, let's go back to this game very quickly, and then we'll go back to transfers, because I know most people watching will want to talk more about transfers than the actual Tottenham matches, which is kind of crazy, but also understandable. In terms of our record against West Ham, in recent years, it's been better than well, I have some bad memories. A Lanzini game always haunts me. That 3-3 was haunting in COVID times, I believe. But we beat them 3-0 at their stadium last season. Sort of September 25. That was this season, sorry. And then we drew 1-1 in May 2025, just a few days before our incredible Europa League win. We beat them 4-1 in 2024, and we drew with them also in 2024 1-1. And we lost at home in 2023. I don't really remember that one. I've clearly raised. Do you?
I think the 2 goals they scored were like 2 of the worst goals that the sport has actually ever seen. I think Ward-Prowse scored one that took about 38 deflections and just bobbled to him. It was just like really bad quality.
Yeah,
but I think it was just after when was it? December 23, you say?
Yeah.
So it would have been in that run where we barely won a game after that Chelsea one under Ange, where we just lost like 8 on the spin or whatever it was.
Absolutely. As I said, last slide, and then we'll go back to the transfers. West Ham currently sitting in 18th place, absolutely bang out of form. 3 wins, 5 draws, 13 losses. We sit almost double their points, which is crazy, do you think, considering how bad we've been, with 7 wins, 6 draws, and 8 losses. We have a +3 goal difference somehow, and they have a -21, which I believe is the second worst in the entire league, even worse than Burnley, which is absolutely shocking. They're 7 points away from staying up out of the relegation zone. They are in serious turmoil, serious trouble. I think there should be absolutely no reason why we don't absolutely smash them and get a statement win and really kick on from there. Whether we do kick on from there is another matter. But guys, score predictions in the chat. Come on, there's 170 of you watching across Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Let's all put our score prediction down in the comments section below. I'm going to start with Henry. I'm going to put him on the spot. Score predictions for tomorrow, mate. And if you want to try and be that guy, give us who's going to score as well.
For me, I'm going to go 2-0. I think if you get it right and get Bowen out of the game, as we said, the striker's an unknown, but I don't think they've got too much to offer us, because you can get Bowen and the striker in the game, and even Somerville if he's in good form, but their midfield is so poor, and their fullbacks aren't even attacking-based fullbacks. So where their creativity is coming from, I have absolutely no idea. Goal scorers, I would absolutely love to see Conor Gallagher scoring his debut. So I'm going Conor Gallagher and Matisse Tell.
Conor Gallagher and Matthias Tell. There you go. I'll get the chat's reaction in a minute. I can already see 10 of you have submitted your score predictions pretty much. Frank, what are you going for, mate?
I'm going to seem like a right miserable.
If you say a draw, I'm going to kick you out of the studio right now.
I'm about to.
He's gone. He's gone. No, joking. Go on, Frank.
I'm going 1-1. I think Tell scores, and I think Thomas Frank loses his job by 9 p.m. That's what I'm sticking with.
Okay. You've gone for very much the win-win, as Henry was saying earlier. Let's get the chat's prediction on this one, because you're not the only 1-1, to be fair. Frank Dirty Sanchez is coming with the two most negative comments I've ever seen. Bissy's washed and 1-1. Fair enough, Dirty Sanchez. That's what you think. That's what you think. But to be honest, 1-1's not even a bad shout. You say 1-1 as well, Frank, right?
Yeah.
Gallagher and Biss teamed up in training. They must be having a laugh. Says Colin, we need 2 attackers, 1 centre-back, 1 midfielder and 1 striker. Hold that thought, Sukil. We're coming back with transfers in just a minute. Delboy saying, let's hammer West Ham. See what you did there. And help send them back to the Championship. Coys. Delboy saying 4-0 Spurs. Stefan Everington's going for a 3-1 Spurs win. Hopefully you're backing us, not West Ham. 3-1 for Sukil as well. 3-1 seems very popular. Ad's going for a clean sheet, 3-0. Spurs. Simmons scores twice. Darren saying we need Wharton, Band, Marmoush would be a band. Marmoid. I'm guessing you mean Marmoush. I could be completely wrong. Who is Marmoid? Maybe that's a spelling mistake. But we'd be a great end to a window. We must sign top players. Enough of the penny pinching by these owners, not paying the wages needed to get the top players. James thinks it's going to be 1-0. Terry thinks 1-0 as well. Wow, Frank says, there you go. Very positive, says Darren. And other Darren is also saying, Dirty Sanchez, wash your mouth with soap. And also Brad's gone for a 3-1 Spurs. Solanke if he plays. Darren's gone for 1-0. Frank needs to stop being scared of what the opposition is going to do. And Colin's saying we are lucky there have been worse teams in the last 2 years. A few years ago, West Ham went down with over 40 points. That is absolutely correct. They did indeed. I think it was 2000 and something. I was on a trivia question the other day. I want to say 2002. So I could be wrong on that, but let me know if I'm right. 4-0. 4-0 is the biggest score prediction. So Henry's gone for 2-0, right? Frank's gone for 1-0. I'm going for a lovely little 3-1 Spurs win. So I'm joining the likes of Brad, the likes of Sukil, the likes of Stefan who've gone for a 3-1 win. And I'm going to go for, I would love to say Conor Gallagher goal. Imagine the scenes on that. But I reckon Solanke's going to get a goal. Whether he starts or not, different matter. I think Solanke's going to come off the bench and score potentially. And I'm going to go Tell. Is Odebear might play, won't he? I think maybe Odebear as well. I think Odebear, Tell, and Solanke. But let's see. I hope Colin Winey doesn't start, to be honest. I'm actually getting a bit sick of him. I'm going to be honest. He's not good enough. But anyway, let's stop talking about the Tottenham West Ham game. Let's go back into the transfers. I'm going to start with Henry because I saw you did a little video on your TikTok earlier, mate. A little plug on that. On the current squad and the fact we've got like 6 or 7 midfielders in the midst, and you think we can only progress with the similar types, only like 4 or 5 of them. Do you want to just explain for the viewers like what you think on that and the fact that we probably need to maybe get rid of 1 or 2 in the summer? Is that right? Do you reckon? Henry? Is he there? Oh, we've had some Henry, can you hear us? What's happened? He's like completely frozen. Anyway, Frank, I'll go with you. Some midfield clear out. Do you think that basically Henry's video, to explain to the viewers, was essentially about the squad, the midfield, and like Palhinha, having Palhinha, Bentancur, Sarr, Bergvall, Gallagher, all these players, some of them very similar to each other. And the fact that probably we're going to have to let some of them go, maybe not keeping Palhinha on a permanent. Frank, do you think that certain players, maybe like a Bentancur, need to get moved on, like a Basuma, for example? Do you think they need to be moved on in the summer? That's essentially what Henry was saying in his TikTok earlier. I probably should have saved it and brought it up, but I didn't.
Yeah. I mean, Basuma's pointless having. If we turn around and started him tomorrow, I'd probably quite enjoy it. But he probably should go. Well, no, he definitely should go because he's obviously not got a place here. And you could probably still squeeze 10 million quid out of him or 8 million quid out of him. He's actually quite a good player for someone, I imagine. So he should go. Bentancur, I also think I like Bentancur, but I haven't seen none of us have seen the Bentancur that we think we can see in probably 3 years, going on maybe 4 years. So I think it's probably an argument to say he should go. Palhinha, I think at 20 million quid is a pretty decent buy, but I'm also not a major fan of him. And I think ultimately what's going to happen is I think there's probably going to be a new manager in charge in the summer. And that's the simple. I don't see a world where he's still here in the first day of the next season. And so ultimately it depends on who the new manager is and what they want. Basuma will go without shadow of a doubt. It wouldn't surprise me if one of Paulinho or Bentancur stay. I don't think all three will go, but I think two of them will go.
Yeah.
And I think also as well, I think there's an argument to suggest that Pape Sarr's, someone's got to grab hold of Pape Sarr, because I said this in the summer that my worry was that if Pape Sarr didn't click under Frank, he might not click at all, because he's had Conte when he was young, he's had Ange, and now he's had him. And he's not clicked really under any of them. And I like Pape Sarr. When he's playing well, the guy's unplayable. But he's so hit or miss that
he's only 23 though. That's the only thing I'd say.
He is. But when I look at Graham Bergvall, who I think are slightly more, not ahead in where they are, but I think that I think with the right coaching, Graham Bergvall go higher than Sarr do probably now in the way I look at them. And so I think they're probably more of a focus and more of a priority. Now you've got Gallagher as well, who's 25, who's going to be part of that sort of midfield now for hopefully the next 5 years. Yeah, I mean, comment there. Sarr's not even starting for Senegal. The guy's just gone off a cliff, and I don't know what's happened. I mean,
didn't he have the best pre-season as well? Do you remember?
Unbelievable. And they started the season. I remember Ali McCoist going raving about him when we played City, and he was brilliant. And then he just dropped him from the team. And it was really odd.
Injured, though, didn't he? He got injured, and he hasn't been the same since he came back. It's like we got replaced by his twin brother that doesn't play football.
I mean, it's sad because I like him, and I think he's probably a good bloke, and he's a great player when he's playing well. And he's part of that team that won in Bilbao, and so I will always sort of love him for that, as I will with all that team, but bar Richarlison. But it's sad, but I think he's one that you could probably argue may have to go if the right money comes in.
Sure. Henry, have we got you back now, mate? On the topic of midfielders.
Hello, mate. Yes. For me, as I was going through it on the TikTok, some of the midfielders are a lot more clear cut as to their future, and some of them are a little bit more hazy. I think Gallagher, obviously a new signing, he's here to stay. Graham Bergvall both as well. I think their roles are pretty set. Obviously, Bergvall's been a bit misprofiled by Frank, but even beyond this manager, he's going to be unreal for us in the future. He's got such a high ceiling.
Yeah.
I think Bentancur should move on in the summer. I think his best years for us were not really in the role he's been given for the last few years. He was much better as an 8. His best year for us was definitely that year where he got scoring a lot. Paulinho, for me, if we do buy him, is purely a squad player. He's someone who he fits Frank's system quite well in scenarios where Frank shines, games where we don't possess the ball a lot, teams that are normally a bit better than us, where he's in there to break up play, and that is it. Because games where we possess the ball too much, he really, really struggles. He gets bypassed a lot. So if you do buy him, you've got to assume he's only going to be in games where we're assuming we're not going to have a lot more of the ball. So that's a whole discussion as to whether you think that's worth it. And for me, Pape Sarr is quite a similar profile to Conor Gallagher. He's someone whose best work is definitely off the ball.
Agreed.
I think his best time for us this year was in the 10, where since Xavi's come in, he's not been given the ability, the sort of option to play in that role, pressing high. Again, that was similar sort of scenario to the Paulinho scenario, where his best times are against teams that aren't as good as us, where we're not possessing the ball, are better than us, where we're not possessing the ball as much, and he's given the freedom to really go and press in the double pivot. Frank, I don't think trusts him, and I don't think he's really good enough on the ball to go and do that double pivot, especially with someone like Paulinho or Conor Gallagher. So I think he's someone we could keep this year, but beyond this year, I think he could move on, because at 23, this is the kind of age you want to get going. You want to properly, find your feet at a football club, and he's not doing it for us.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's a really good summary. I think you're right. Sarr and Gallagher are almost similar, so it's probably worrying times for Sarr that Gallagher has actually come in. But yeah, spot on, mate. James is saying, for me, Paulinho does the things fans love to see. He goes in flying for tackles and charges forward. Bentancur does the things no one sees. He holds the midfield position, rests, defends, and makes unselfish runs. Sukil was saying Tottenham in talks to sign Alonso. Sukil, where are you getting these sources from? Like, You've said we're going to get Alonso as our manager. And what was the other one you said earlier? I mean, this is unbelievable.
Kid from Ajax. I mean, that'd be a dream, wouldn't it? Alonso?
Yeah. I'm not saying you're wrong, Sakil, but I'm saying you're wrong. Darren Kilbane saying, if Frank gets sacked, who do you bring in? He has no Kudus, no Solanke until this week, no Madders, no Kulu and Johnson and Biss, Sarr in AFCON. Give it a chance. It's all on the board, not getting top signings. Darren Kilbane, there you go. He's franking. He's had enough of the board. And to be honest, I've had enough of that as well. But I mean, let's be honest, Frank's given me nothing to hold on to. I don't know what our identity is. I don't know what our tactics are. I don't know what players he's improving. It's absolutely dreadful to watch. I hate watching Tottenham at the moment. For me, that's enough to get a manager gone. We're seeing no progress. And getting players that are suited to a Thomas Frank system. I mean, what even is that? What is the Thomas Frank system? I'm absolutely puzzled. I don't know what it is. Terry Wright saying Palhinha is a good squad player. Collins saying Alex Scott is made for Spurs and cheaper than Morton. Very good shout. He's a really good player. And Darren Fearon saying I'm mixed with Pape Sarr because he looked very bright against Man City and PSG. And we need to sell Graham Bergvall on loan and bring 2 new experienced players like Vitinha, what the best midfielder in the world, pretty much. I don't think we got a chance on that one either, Cecil, personally. But let's get a look at what are the latest transfer pieces of news. Obviously, earlier we covered a couple of them. Marmoush is definitely one that we need to keep an eye on. As we mentioned earlier, apparently Spurs are ready to swoop for him and he's very much out of the, I guess, priority line for Manchester City. I'm just going to share my screen and a nice website that I like to look at in terms of transfer news, which is definitely not all tier 1 sources, but it gives us food for thought and understanding as to maybe other news coming out. So it looks like 16 minutes ago it was updated and the Adeyemi links continue. That apparently Tottenham have submitted an offer for around 60 million euros. I don't know how accurate this is, guys. Again, like I said, but apparently no official response has been received. Frank, what do you reckon, mate? Do you think do you think there's any truth in this from transfer feed, or do you think this is absolute nonsense? Do you not think we'll go for Adeyemi? I can't see us bidding 60 million for him, but could be wrong.
I can't see that money being talked about, but I could see this being the sort of thing they do, Spurs, yeah.
A loan to buy, maybe?
Possibly, yeah. Because I think the one thing that Spurs actually really lack is pace, like blistering pace to sort of really hurt you. And I think football can be made a really simple game, and not to go on some sort of tangent here, but if you have pace on your wings and you have a structure in midfield, which we have neither of, by the way, I think you can make it quite a simple game. And I think he's someone that can play on both sides. He can play as a 9 as well. I'm a little bit bored of us signing players that can just play in all 3 of them because it saves money and not having to go and buy, certain players that fit just one. But I do think he is pretty decent. I'm not his biggest fan, but I think he's decent. And I think he has things, as I say, that the pace to him, whatever, that we don't have in that front line. And so it adds something that we are missing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Quick thoughts from you, Henry. A fan of Karim Adeyemi? I remember he scored a really nice run, nice goal against Chelsea in the Champions League maybe 2 seasons ago, I want to say. Maybe slightly late, earlier than that. What'd you make of this, mate? And how much do you think he's actually worth? This site saying 60 million, but I mean, he is still very young. I think I believe he's about 23. I need to double check on that one. But what do you make of Adeyemi, mate?
As a player, Adeyemi's, someone that improves us now. But my biggest worry for him is Frank loves wingers who are direct and really, really quick. So if we're signing Adeyemi, I have a real worry that Frank has got a hand in our transfers at the moment.
Yeah.
So
very true.
If that is something to consider, then that might be the biggest worry of all of them for us at the minute. But as a player, Adeyemi's good. I worry for him a little bit in front of goal. He's not the most prolific winger.
Correct. I think his highest scoring season was with Salzburg, where he got 19 in 29, which was a very good return. But since joining Dortmund, his top scoring season was last season with only 7 in 25. But then again, he did get 6 assists, 7 goals in 25, which is an all right return, to be fair. That's not too bad. I mean, if you got 13 goal contributions for a player in Tottenham's team, you'd probably be their best player. So if he could do that for Tottenham, then why not? But Guys, let us know what you think in the chat. James is saying Adeyemi described as faster than a speeding bullet, so just a bit slower than Van der Ven. He says absolutely. Adeyemi and Kudus would be a fun watch, says Terry, and Sukil saying 55 million plus add-ons. He would play a bit like Salah. Adeyemi would be an incredible signing. Vlahovic is another one that we have been linked with in the past.
Colin's come with some unbelievable shouts this evening, by the way.
He actually has.
He knows his stuff.
Colin knows ball. Colin knows ball. Let's go back to this site for a couple more. And again, this is what we're looking at based on the fact that we've already given you the transfer news that have come from, a little bit more official sources earlier today in the Marmoush one. Adeyemi, the rumours keep knocking on. They keep coming in. Diamande is one that we've been linked with as well, but apparently he's not available for a transfer this window, although obviously things can change. But Hayden Hackney's one we haven't talked about on the channel for probably since the summer, right, Frank? And apparently Tottenham have shown interest in Hayden Hackney, but Team Talk, who's the source we had about earlier, reports that this interest may have lessened because they signed, what does it say? Because they've signed Conor Gallagher for £34 million. So, but earlier they were saying that Tottenham are prominent suitors monitoring Hayden Hackney has attracted significant Premier League interest. Middlesbrough have a 30 million valuation on Hackney and are resolved not to be pressured into selling him during this month's transfer window. The club is reluctant to sell and does not believe anyone will meet his valuation. Beyond this season, there is an acceptance that Middlesbrough would have to sell in the summer if they do not win promotion. I think this guy is way too good for the Championship. From what I've seen, he's 23 years old. His price is valued at around 30-35 million. He's a good defensive midfielder. Do you think we need him is the first question, Frank. Do you think we need Hayden Hackney?
Well, I think ultimately it depends on how injured Palhinha is, if that's the case. But then what I would say is he's a guy that's never played in the Premier League. I think he's a good player, by the way. He's never played in the Premier League, so he might not come in and take to it instantly. And ultimately, if he's going to cost you 30, 35 now, if I know Tottenham, and granted Levy's not there, but if I know Tottenham and those in charge, they will sit there and go, Middlesbrough are 2 points clear of third at the moment in the Championship. They've played a game more than third as well, right? So very easily they finish in the playoffs. If they don't come up through the playoffs, which is more than feasible because one of the four teams do, that value is going to be 15 million quid in the summer. And they know that. And sadly, that's probably the reason he'll end up at Manchester City or Man United or Chelsea or Arsenal, whoever, because we will be outdone because we'll take our time because we'll think there's a bargain there to be made. And that's kind of disappointing. If I can get him done, I'd love him. So I think he's a really good player. And I think he comes in and someone that, I mean, he's a little bit older than I thought. He was a little bit younger than that. But I think he makes an impact. And I think he's someone that with Gallagher, and as I said this before, I like the idea of having an English spine of your team as well. I think having a strong spine, first of all, but having an English spine, I think that really, certainly in midfield, I think really get the Premier League and English football makes a difference. And then you've got him, Gray and Gallagher. I'm quite a fan of that personally.
Henry, what's your thoughts on Hayden Hackney, mate? Do you like him as a player? And I guess this question here from James, is he better or worse than Gray and Bergvall?
That's an interesting one. For me, I think Hayden Hackney does bring something our midfield doesn't have. His progressive numbers are much, much better than some of the options we do have at the moment. But I have to agree with one of the comments that Colin's just made. I don't see, as a 23-year-old, he has had so many clubs sniff around him since he was 19, 20. Why has no one taken that punt yet? It makes me think that something's off.
Sorry, I've got the wrong comment. I thought you meant the Williams Barnett comment. You mean the which one from Colin?
He said something about so many clubs have dithered on him. Why?
Yeah, got it. Yeah, interesting. Guys, let us know if you would go for Hayden Hackney. I'm just trying to find, while you guys have been chatting there, if there's absolutely any new transfer news that we have potentially missed. But the final question, the final interaction piece for the chat, I guess, is who do you want to see next? Who is the signing that you want to see next? I ask it in most of my videos. We ask it in most of the videos that me and Frank do on the offline ones. Who is the next signing that you want to see at Spurs? One word answers in the chat now. I'm going to catch up on chat as well, and then we're going to wrap things up very, very soon. But Wide Eyes in here saying Hayden Hackney is intelligent, composed, and aware on the ball. He's exactly what we need. Williams Barnett, I think he's going to be an incredible player. Like he's absolutely smashing it in the youth leagues, but I think they're worried about throwing him in the deep end too early. And I think, but Terry Wright saying Ruben Neves, and I think this is going to be probably quite a popular shout, that progressive passer in the midfield. Frank, who's your player you want to see sign next, mate?
I mean, there's one that we spoke about quite a lot in the summer. Ultimately, I probably don't think it happens now, which is a bit of a shame, but I'd love Angelo Stiller still. I think Angelo Stiller makes a proper impact at Tottenham, and I think you've got there. The reason he ain't coming to Tottenham is because I think there you've probably got one of the better midfielders in the world. I just think that this will be his final year easily. I think at Stuttgart, he'll go. I imagine he'll end up at Madrid or someone, but he would be my one. I think he's brilliant. Or Adam Wharton, but that's really unlikely as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Angelo Stiller, what a player he is, absolutely, and a lot of big clubs are after him. Henry, I'm going to go with you, mate, and then I'm going to see what the chat are thinking. Guys, if you haven't put it in the chat now, whack it in the comments if you're watching offline, or if you're watching live, in the live chat now, which player do you want to see signed next? Before I get Henry's answer, James has gone for Yildiz. Terry, as I said, has gone for Ruben Diaz, and David Clark's in here with his jokes saying he wants to see Dynamo, and apparently... also says since 2020, Spurs have spent just less than 1 billion, which is testament to how clueless Levy and his scatter system have been over the last 20 years. There's been some absolute stinkers, really, hasn't there? But Henry, who do you want Spurs to sign next, mate? And also, while you're talking about it, at the end, after you said about it, guys, I've just whacked it in the live chat 5 times onto YouTube. If you are a TikTok, well, you don't have to be a TikToker, but if you use the TikTok app, please go and subscribe and follow Henry's channel. He's just crossed 1,000 followers on there. He does daily content where he basically films all things to do with Tottenham. So go and check him out with the link below and let me know if you've done it. But Henry, who would you sign next for Spurs? And let us know a little bit more about your TikTok, mate.
For me, Spurs-wise, I think we've got to bring in players right now that make the impact, and we know are going to make the impact. So I'd go and get Iliman Ndiaye. If it's a possible deal, I think he's someone we have to go and get. We know... I agree with what Frank was saying earlier. We don't need players that can play left, that can play right and 10 and a bit up front. We need people that can do an exact job. And although Iliman Ndiaye can play both wings, I think he does his job really, really well, and he makes the difference right now. And you just know he's proven. For my TikTok, I film daily Spurs content, take apart the squad a lot, talk about opportunities, like possibilities, and just I like to get into little debates as well, TikTok lives, just get everyone's thoughts and really see where we see as a community.
Absolutely love it, mate. Guys, I've put it in the chat 4 or 5 times. Please go and smash a follow on TikTok to @WhiteArtHenry. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. We're going to wrap up in just a couple of minutes, but before we do, really appreciate all the support on the channel lately. You guys have been smashing it, and Frank and I have been doing daily offline videos as well. So to never miss them, smash the like button, guys. There's 27 likes on this, and there's been about 80 people watching on YouTube, 200 in total in Twitter and Facebook as well. Just hit like. It's absolutely free to do so. Please turn on the notification bell as well to the channel. It's also down below, and subscribe. They are all free to do so. If you're in a position to do so, as I said earlier, please smash in some super chats. Please smash in some comments in the offline video. And of course, become a Spurs-related member if you want your chat prioritized when we go live next. But that's all we have time for from Frank, Henry, and myself. We'll be back on your screens very soon for another offline or live stream. So smash the like, as Wide Eye is saying, smash the subscribe, turn on your notification bells, and we'll be back on your YouTube screens very, very soon. Remember, as always, come on, you Spurs. 3-1 Spurs. Come on.